Hey there, greetings, good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So, we're here to do that second episode of the mini series that we are now running on Tuesday nights, which is Who Had the Better Run? So, we did the first one last week, in which Genesis and Gentle Giant went toe to toe. This week, we're doing Rush and Yes. Yes and Rush. So these are my number 1 and number 3 bands. Very good run. So this run is a 7 album run as opposed to last week, which was just a 6 album run. So I'm just gonna go through the albums. We'll start with the Yes, because they're in front of me right here. How come I have 8 albums here? 8 albums in my 7 album run. How did that happen? Oh, I see why. There was an album. I put the Yes stack on top of an album that wasn't related. So, started kind of with their third studio album when Steve Howe joined the band on the Yes album. This is a great album. It initially wasn't one of my favorite Yes albums, but eventually it's become right up there. I think it's probably my second favorite Yes album. Pretty sure it is. Then they went to probably arguably one of their bigger albums. Definitely had the big song on it, Roundabout here. This is a strong album. Maybe could have even been stronger if they had eliminated those little bitty parts by each of the musicians. But I kind of like those things. I think it gives the album something a little different than other albums. So Fragile here. Another masterpiece. Both those two are masterpieces. This is arguably the greatest progressive rock album of all time. Third on this run, but maybe the best of all time. It's definitely my favorite Yes album. So much has been said about this album, I don't know what more you can say. So it's another masterpiece for me. Then we kind of dip a bit. So dips quite a bit here for Tales of the Topographic Ocean. This is a double album. They tend to have a harder time with me in general. Still a good album. I give it a 2 ranking. It's a pretty high 2 ranking, but it's still going up. It's not lost any momentum. Just that being a 2 album, a very difficult album to penetrate, but still pretty strong and among the best artwork of all of the albums. Next up, we've got Relayer. Maybe the most complex of all of the Yes albums. Definitely instrumentally right at the top of the pyramid here. Very kind of similar to Close to the Edge in that there's 3 songs. You've got one that's a little more quiet and a couple that a bit more heavier. And then, of course, Gates of Delirium and is kind of a match for Close to the Edge, the title. This one's more complex, I think. More jazz. It got a little bit more of a jazz fusion-y element on the music as well. But nevertheless, great. Another great album cover as well. This is a number 1 for me. It hasn't ever quite made that masterpiece level, but every once in a while it goes in my masterpiece list for consideration again. Did 2 of the last 4 years I've had it in there. It might make it this time, though. Hard to say. Next up is Going for the One. This album, for whatever reason, never quite made it to that masterpiece thing for it. I guess maybe having a naked man on a progressive rock album when you know that it's all going to be men looking at your album kind of makes me feel a little weird about it, but it's got some great tracks on here. This is a kind of a weird combo, though. So you've got a couple of tracks here that are kind of commercial sounding, like Going for the One and Parallel. Well, maybe Going for the One isn't so commercial, but Parallels definitely has that. And you got a couple of songs that are kind of classical nature, and then you have an epic in Awaken. Awaken may be one of Yes's greatest songs. So this is a 1, probably should be considered at some point for a masterpiece too, but it's really close. And then the final album on it, which for nostalgic reasons is one of my favorite Yes albums. There's a lot of stuff on here that in this album sometimes takes a bit of a crap kicking from people, but I like it. It's varied. It's different than some of their other albums. Yes, there was a lot of in-house fighting with the band and stuff like that while it was being recorded, but they've come out with some really great stuff here. On the Silent Wings of Freedom, definitely one of their best songs of all time. And then you've got a bunch of stuff here that's really quite different. And I like most of the stuff. I like Circus of Heaven. I like Arriving UFO. I like Future Times, Rejoice, and Don't Kill a Whale. I know some people don't like these tracks and don't like this album and don't like the cover. I'll give them the cover. The cover's not great. But the album, I like this album a lot. It maybe hasn't aged as well as some of the other ones, but still strong, still a masterpiece for me. So that's the Yes run. Now we'll do the Rush run since it's a little further back on the list here. So you've got another 7 albums here, of course, a 7-album run, starting here with their second album and their first one for Neil Peart. This is Fly By Night, and arguably, I think this is probably my favorite Rush album. Probably has been. It did very well when we did the kind of discussion about all the Rush albums, about all of my masterpiece albums when I did that series a while back. I think it's probably my favorite. Some of the songs on here are killer for me and still have always been. Anthem, Bytor and the Snow Dog, Fly By Night, Making Memories, and In the End are all top-notch songs. And then you've got a couple of songs that are in and out for me all the time. Sometimes I really like them a lot. Other times I don't care to listen to them. That's Best I Can, Beneath, Between, and Behind. So the only really kind of a little bit of a weak song on here is Rivendell. But I don't mind it for a kind of ballad-like song. Not really that it's a ballad, but it's very quieter, more subdued song. It's a little different from them, but I do like it. So this is a start out for me. Masterpiece. Next up is very underrated album, but definitely one of my favorites, Rush's Caress of Steel. It's got heavy elements. It's got classical elements. It's got some really progressive elements here, quite heavy at times. I like the songs. It also has my favorite Rush song, which is Lakeside Park. Bastille Day is like Anthem. It has that kind of weird kind of riff that is just real catchy as hell. And then the 2 epics, including The Necromancer, which is great, and Fountain of Lameth, which I think is their best long epic track. So that's my number 2. Oh, sorry, that's the number 3 studio album from, also a masterpiece. The next album never quite made masterpiece status for me. I know I take some heat for that because some people actually think this is Rush's best album. I do like the 2112 overture. Like the whole suite, the whole side long thing is quite good. It's more heavier than probably Fountain of Lameth, but doesn't really feel as proggy as some of the other albums, but still really good. The backside has grown on me over the years and eventually could make this a masterpiece as well. I do like Passage to Bangkok, Twilight Zone, Lessons, Something for Nothing, and even Tears a little bit as well. So really a pretty strong album. It's definitely a 1. Has had its moments in the sun. So that's their 4th studio album, but number 3 here on the run. The next album up for the run, oh, these are backwards. What's going on here? Is Farewell to Kings. This to me is a masterpiece album without a doubt. That first side with Farewell to Kings and Xanadu, probably the most listened to side of any album in my history. Also probably my favorite side of an album. I can't think of anything that would pass it. The backside, not nearly as strong, but still has some good stuff on it. Close to the Heart, of course, everybody knows that one. Cinderella Man, for a long time, was a very big track for me. It's kind of burned out, though, over the years. And Cygnus X1 has kind of replaced that. It's become more of like the number 3 song on the album for me. And I quite like that a lot. Mad Rigel, it's a pretty good song. And, you know, both Yes and Rush have a Mad Rigel on it, or whatever you want to call that song, but definitely strong album. So that's another masterpiece. Their fifth studio album. There's sixth studio album, probably the most complex. This is, to me, the relayer of the Rush group. So with Relayer, you have probably their most complex album. Same here, Rush's most complex. In the case of Relayer, I believe it is their, where is it? Seventh studio album, where this is just their sixth studio album, but the very similar time period. The Yes one's a few years earlier. This is Rush's attempt at that. It feels like it anyways. The backside of this album, absolutely spectacular. Circumstances, Trees, La Villa Strangato. It may be the best instrumental song out there anywhere. And even the length side, album side track on the front side, Cygnus X Book 1 Hemispheres, or Book 2 Hemispheres, has really grown on me over the years. I actually think I like this more than 2112. That's more of a recent thing. But this is a masterpiece album. Probably third favorite Rush album, but definitely a masterpiece here. Coming out of the sixth spot, I believe that is. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So the seventh album is, for many decades, for over 40 years, this was my favorite Rush album. It was also my first Rush album. I love it. It's burned out quite a bit, though. Really, only Natural Science has remained not burned out. All the other songs are pretty much burned out. I do listen to the album once in a while, but there's not as much enthusiasm to listen to it because I'm just kind of really burned out on the album from just years and years of playing it. But still, very strong album. Initially my favorite for a long time. It's only in recent year that Fly By Night just kind of passed it. So it's my seventh. Also another masterpiece. And then you get to the final album, which is their biggest album. This is their magnus opus, if you prefer. Bringing all of the elements they've been working on the previous 7 albums to a perfect mix here on this album. There's a lot of good things to be said about this album. That side 1 is one of the strongest sides of any of their albums. Backside, not as much, although Vital Signs has long been my favorite song on this album. Witch Hunt, I never cared much for that song. Still don't really like that. Well, it's not that I dislike it or anything. It's just, to me, a weak song. And Camera Eye kind of grown on me a little bit over the years. But the front 4 are all strong, just overplayed. Too much play. Kind of suffers from the same thing as Permanent Waves. This has never been a masterpiece album for me, and I take hits for that as well. The 2 biggest Rush albums for most people are Rush, this one and 2112, and they're not the only 2 that are not masterpieces for me. And it's just a case of overplay. I think they're just burned out. They just burned out for me. I just really, other than YYZ and Vital Signs, I don't really like to listen to much of this album. It's not an album I go for much anymore, but it's still a number 1. Maybe someday the burnout will pass and this album will make it to the top where it belongs. So that's my Rush discography and my Yes discography, broken down as I see them. So now I have to choose between one or the other. It's quite difficult because I love both of these discographies a lot. And he nailed it on the head. He went from exactly where I would have went. I might have... I like Drama too. Drama isn't in this list, but I love that album as well. Where with Rush, this is probably exactly where it should be. And overall, I think the Yes discography has 4 masterpieces for me and 3 1, or 2 1s and a 2, where Rush has 5 masterpieces here and 2 1s. So I think if you're going by attrition, I would say Rush has the better discography, and that was my feeling going into this, and my analysis of it confirms to me what I believe. Both discographies are quite burned out, though, overall. Other than Caress of Steel, which is my go-to Rush album, the rest of these albums I do not listen to as much as I once did. Maybe I listen to the Yes album a little bit more than the rest, but I've overplayed them for so long, 40 plus years, in some cases almost 50 years now. Anyways, that's my take on this. Who do I think is the better discography? I would say Rush to me is the better run here. I know that there's lots of people out there who would definitely disagree with that, and that's fine. We all hear things differently. Anyways, please hit the like and subscribe if you want to make any comments about any of the albums I've talked about or either of the groups, or just give your opinion as to which one you think is the better discography. You can do that. Anyways, take care. Have yourself a good evening and good night here from the Prog Monster.